We're coming to the third front in the second part of our debate, but Subramanian Swamy wants to join our discussion as well. Mr. Swamy, do you believe that the stage is being set for midterm elections, that the UPA, as the India Today cover story asks, might not really survive this summer?
Well, I substantially agree with MJ Akbar to the extent that the midterm poll seems to be like a very high probability, because for different reasons. Of course, I believe that all the allies of the UPA, of the Congress and the UPA, think that the Congress image is sinking fast, and this huge loss of perhaps 8 out of 10 or whatever in Raebareli and Amethi has shocked even the allies more than perhaps the Congress. The fact of the matter is that if they delay holding elections, then some of this corruption dirt which is sticking on Congress will also start sticking on them, plus their own tenure, the developing anti-incumbency will also be a factor. So they think it's earlier the better. Furthermore, I don't think it will be before the presidential election, because all these opposite parties, including the allies of the Congress, would like a president would be different from the type of president we have just now. And so perhaps sometime in October you will probably see the government falling and midterm poll being organized.
You're saying October, after the presidential elections, there may be midterm polls. I want to bring in Tariq Anwar into our debate as well, sir. We're seeing Sharad Pawar go and attend the swearing-in ceremony of Prakash Singh Badal. A lot is being read about whether the NCP is flirting with non-Congress allies and parties in the hope that in a post-UPA third front dispensation, they would have a role to play. So is that now on center stage part of Sharad Pawar and the NCP's thinking, moving away from the Congress, latching onto a third front if it were to emerge?
Oh, I don't think we are the part and parcel of the UPA, and we will remain in the UPA. And we have seen the performance of the third front in the past. So, what is the future of the third front? Everybody knows.
But are you concerned about the fact that Mamata Banerjee is now snapping at the heels of the UPA and making it clear that she would like midterm elections because she thinks her numbers will go up? We've seen the BJP speak about midterm elections. Do you believe this is now within the realm of possibility?
No, I don't think Mamata will go to that extent. And I entirely agree with Manish Shankar here, because Mamata, of course, in the coalition government, some contradiction always there. But it doesn't mean that she will take any his decision.
Okay.
She understands politics, and I think Mr. Iyer is very much correct that if she will go her own, then it is very difficult to win the Lok Sabha election. So I think she has to be in the UP.
Okay, we've discussed the first aspect of our debate about whether the UPA will survive this summer. I now want to come to the second center stage face-off question this evening. Is the third front a non-starter, a disparate group of allies with no real common ideology? Mr. Akbar, do you believe they'll be able to pull together? India has suffered a third front in the past from every aspect of governance, of the economy. It's something that people are very wary about. Can this motley bunch of leaders pull together a cohesive government?
Are we discussing the third front of 11 years ago, or are you discussing UPA II?
We're discussing the third front that now seems to be emerging on the sidelines of UPA II.
Right. So the UPA II's performance in the last 2 years, quite distinct and quite differently from its performance in the first 5 years, by the way, has been one of disparate groups sticking together for no ostensible purpose than being in power. And that message has gone down to the party. I think the people and the political parties that you see have learned from their own mistakes. They understand that to remain in power, you need a common minimum program. There is nothing actually in common today. You look at this alliance that is in power at this moment. One important party's ministers are in jail, one is sulking. The people who have supported the government, actually quite willingly. After all, you look at the high point of UPA II, which was a nuclear debate, and the support that it got from all the elements that today would constitute the larger UPA family. And you'll find that from unity or unison, it has become tremendous amount of dissonance.
But do you believe the third front is a workable idea?
The third front will emerge and work as an idea because it wants to actually be in power, be the alternative source of power.
Let Mr. Iyer respond to that. A common minimum agenda. This is not the third front of the 90s, pulled together by allies and partners who realize that if there is a common minimum agenda, they can work together. Even in the UPA, Mr. Akbar says, there are disparate allies who don't really get along. They are held together by the glue of power. That same power could hold these allies together in the third front, Mr. Iyer.
Rahul, you began this half of the program by asking, will the 10 government chief ministers be able to pull together? And we've now arrived at the stage where we're asking, can they get together? Let them get together if they are going to get together, and then we'll see. But among them is Mamata Banerjee. And Mamata Banerjee knows, whatever Akbar might say, that the number of seats she can win if she is with the Congress is always going to be larger than the number of seats that she could hope to win if she is not with the Congress. That's point number one. Secondly, I don't see the Samajwadi Party pulling away from its support base, for it knows that as the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are today constituted, the number of seats in the Lok Sabha that the Samajwadi Party has is almost the same as the Bahujan Samaj Party has. And why should the Bahujan Samaj Party wish to go in for an early election in present conditions?
No, but we just heard a comment from Akhilesh Yadav this morning, sir, where he said that the third front is a good idea. Is it of concern to you that your allies are veering towards the third front, heading away from the UPA II?
I'm not in the least concerned, because we know that in any set of parties that come together, there will be both centrifugal as well as centripetal forces operating. And a clever way of running a coalition is to ensure that the centripetal prevail over the centrifugal. And I think that with the lessons of the last 5 elections behind us, it should be possible for the UPA II to become much more meaningful and focused. And you can see that the evidence of that is in the President's address, which was after all passed by all the parties belonging to the UPA together sitting in the cabinet. And that is a huge list of programs to present before the nation, and they don't deal with controversial issues like multi-brand retail. They deal very much more with welfare programs and with a corruption-free society in which all political parties have a more or less equal stake.
How does the NCP view this, Mr. Anwar? Do you think that the third front that's now emerging all along the east of India, now we heard Akhilesh talk about the third front being a good idea, do you believe this presents a potent threat to the stability of UPA II?
No, I don't see any threat to the UPA II. And again I will repeat that if Mamata will be there in the third front, as you are assuming, then what will happen to the left front? And without left front, how you can see any front? So I think after 96-98 third front experience, this country has reached to this conclusion that there should be only 2 fronts, one led by the Congress, another led by the BJP, because the third front concept already failed.
Dr. Swamy, you've just joined the NDA. It seems your friends in the third front are now all coming together. Is that of concern to you, or can we expect you to go and join the third front if these people were to come together? Because it seems there's more buzz in the third front corner currently than there is in the NDA corner.
Me and the communists in the same front, that's an impossibility.
No, because we're also seeing
but
NDA allies like the Akalis play footsie with third front leaders. So we're seeing Prakash Singh Badal also make it very clear that he would be open to the idea of considering joining the third front, sir.
Now the thing is that all these major parties of the so-called third front, they have been part of the NDA before, and they can easily be wooed back to the NDA, and I think that would be a project for the NDA in the coming months. How to get, say, Jayalalitha or Chandrababu Naidu or even Mamata back into the fold in some kind of an arrangement, if not formally in the NDA. So I don't see any real possibility of a third front. I can tell you even Mulayam Singh is, because of the circumstances of the cases against him, he is sort of hanging on with the Congress. But deep in his heart, he is a loyal who hates the Congress and would not hesitate when he gets an opportunity to walk out. So and let me tell you that when Mulayam Singh was with VP Singh, that time BJP was also there. Mulayam Singh was also part of the Janata Party in the 70s and early 80s. In fact, when Chandrasekhar government was there, Mulayam Singh was part of the Chandrasekhar government.
So you're saying
I don't think that there's any
it's the glue of the CBI that's holding Mulayam to the UPA. But I want to bring in one of the key architects of the third front. Naveen Patnaik and his party been working on this. Pinaki Mishra of the BJD is now joining us. Manishankar Iyer, Mr. Mishra makes the case that the third front idea has been tried in the past. It has failed spectacularly. There's no reason for the people to believe that this time a diverse set of leaders with no common ideology can come together and actually govern our country. This is a non-starter of an idea.
I'm not so sure that it's a non-starter of an idea, because with the gradual shrinking of both the national parties and their space in the national political firmament, which you can clearly see in these elections, I think sooner rather than later there will be the potential for a third front forces to coalesce, and for these national parties then to, in a sense, probably become a rump to that conglomeration of regional forces.
You're saying sooner rather than later. How soon do you see the third front actually come together as a cohesive whole? And have you been getting feelers from Mamata, from Akhilesh, that they're open to the idea of joining your third front, a federal front as you've been describing it?
Raul, I think everybody is speaking to everybody. I think you're aware of that. In fact, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik has deputed our leader of the parliamentary party in the Lok Sabha to attend Badal Saab's swearing in the day after. So, it just shows that everybody is speaking with everybody. Badal Saab had very graciously invited him because he was close friends with Biju Babu. So he requested Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik to attend, but he was caught up with some by-elections, etc. in Odisha. So therefore, he's sending a representative. So in that sense, if you can see that once our representative is attending, the Chief Minister of Akali Dal's swearing in, clearly everybody is speaking to everybody, as in politics everybody should speak to everybody. I don't think anybody should be a pariah. There should be no outcast. And the problem with the Congress party, I think, very often has been that they tend to treat people as political outcasts or as pariahs. That sort of insularity really will have to go now. You can see their space is shrinking so rapidly and so vastly that, unless they reach out, speak to everybody, as third front partners are doing now, and other regional forces are doing now, it's not good for the Indian polity, and it's not good for Parliament.
Give me a moment, Pinaki, Mr. Akbar. Do you see more than just mere political symbolism in the fact that Sharad Pawar is going and attending Prakash Singh Badal swearing in, the fact that Naveen Patnaik, Jayalalitha, they're all sending their own representatives? Is this a swearing in laced with symbolism?
You see, that's it. The question that you need to ask is, why has the situation become fluid? In the second year and the third year of power, a ruling party should have gelled together, should have actually taken charge of the situation and attracted forces towards it. But the fluidity comes from the fact that the Congress is not adding to any partner's vote base. That's the hard political fact. We are talking UP all the time. The real, I tell you, the real magic is in Punjab. In Punjab, no Pandit, no commentator actually publicly gave Sukhbir Badal a chance. I mean, the Akalis pulled it off. There, the Congress vote share went down sharply.
So let Mr. Iyer respond to that. Because of all these allegations of corruption and the anti-incumbency that's impacting the UPA, the Congress is now no longer an asset. It's not adding to the ally vote share, it's actually chipping away, which is why the allies would rather that the baggage of the Congress stay away from them in the next election, Mr. Iyer. That's Mr. Akbar's contention.
Which is why Dr. Manmohan Singh is today the Prime Minister of India. Don't forget that these UPA parties are all still together. Nobody has left except in the fantasies of MJ Akbar. The fact of the matter is that Mamta will not leave because then she will lose, and I don't think the Samajwadi Party will leave us because then their place will be taken by the Bahujan Samaj Party. Now in these circumstances, yes, there has been a hit delivered to the Congress, and therefore people who want to see the Congress disappear from the scene can go on arguing that we have so eroded that we are no longer a national
Mr. Akbar
party.
wants to respond to you.
No, I really want to say it is getting increasingly easy to irritate Manishankar. That's all. I mean, come on.
No, the fact is,
this is
that
not,
MJ
I mean, I'm looking at facts.
His great capacity
I'm looking at the facts that have emerged from this
not
election.
answered either of my substantive questions. My substantive question to Akbar is, what makes you think that a Mamta without the Congress will do better against the left front than a Mamta with the Congress?
I answered that question.
The Samajwadi Party would be so stupid as to leave the support base in order to open the possibility for the BSP, which is supporting the Congress in Uttarakhand, to also start supporting it elsewhere. These are hard questions, and it doesn't do to answer that Manishankar Rao is getting increasingly...
I answered the question, I answered the question very specifically when Rahul, by quoting the Congress president. The Congress president
hates the Gandhi family, and that is coming out as analysis.
Why is this getting so personal? I mean, I object to the stupidity of using words like hatred, because I don't. And I want to make that very clear. That, this is a political debate. This is not an exercise in silly Oxbridge nonsense.
There are two questions.
The first question was what I have answered, and that is the question of what happens. And giving the instance of Punjab, and quoting in fact Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi said that 23 seats went away from the Congress because of Manpreet Badal. Now, I don't know, she must have got her calculations right. And this is what I said, that when a split takes place, the anti-Akali Dal vote split. In the present context, it is my feeling, we can only give our assessments, that the anti-Mamta vote, if it has increased over the last year, will split between both the Congress and the left. Therefore, at least for the immediate moment, increasing the Mamta space. Yes, 2 years later what will happen when it gets more consolidated, we don't.
Dr. Swamy wants to come in on this. Has the Congress now become a liability for its allies? The fact that wherever these allies are tying up with the Congress, they're actually losing votes. Would they be happier off and better off if they were without the Congress, Dr. Swamy?
Well, you can see this in state after state. What happened in Tamil Nadu, Congress got only 5 seats, perhaps the lowest in its history. You saw, of course, I mentioned it earlier, that Raebareli and Amethi, where they should have had some kind of performance, there was a disaster. After all the build-up for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, family, grandchildren, son-in-law, all that, this is what the result they produced. I think it's clear as daylight for anyone who is not partisan that the Congress is gone on a steep decline, and its liability is going to take everybody down with it if you stick with it.
Mr. Anwar, do you see the Congress as a liability? The fact that the NCP and the Congress in the recently concluded municipal elections were together, and yet you lost. The Shiv Sena and the BJP won, despite the fact that the Congress NCP after very long contested these elections together. Does that show that the Congress is increasingly unpopular in the urban pockets Is the NCP concerned that the Congress could have become a liability?
What does it matter? What does it matter?
Not exactly.
What matters is the parties who belong.
Mr. Iyer, I'm coming to you. Just one moment. Let Mr. Andar respond to it. I'm coming to you in just a moment, sir. Yes, Mr. Andar.
Yes, in Mumbai and Thane particularly, they have a very strong base. Shiv Sena has a very strong base, and in the last election also, since 90 perhaps 94, 96, they are winning the corporation election.
Sir, you are dodging the question, Mr. Andar. You are dodging the question. The Congress and the NCP did badly last time. The argument that was given was that they fought separately and therefore the vote share got split. Now you've come together. Despite that, the Shiv Sena BJP triumphed.
I must accept this that our organization base is not very strong in Mumbai and Thane, and that's why we lost. It is not because of the Congress. I accept this reality. So this is not to say that Congress is the liability for their allies. I think we are working very closely, and we have the longest understanding.
Okay, so Mr. Manishankar Iyer was trying to make a point. Mr. Iyer, please do so now, sir.
I was saying that it is not for me to say whether the Congress will become a liability. It's for my partners to say so. And my partners are all sticking along with us. And therefore the idea that somehow we've suddenly become a liability today when we were an asset a week ago doesn't seem to me to be realistic. And Akbar's parallel between Punjab and Bengal just doesn't hold. In Punjab, the Congress was pitted against the Akalis, and in the Akalis there was a split which resulted in the Congress losing. In Bengal, we have an alliance between the Congress and the TMC, and I just don't see how by losing the Congress, the TMC's own support base might increase.
Naveen Patnaik said, I don't need the BJP support, and he pulled it off. Maybe Mamata Banerjee feels that same sense of confidence that she can do away with your party and yet pull off the state of Bengal.
Why did Naveen Patnaik cool off? It was because his partner, the BJP, undertook a massacre in Kandhamal. And it was after that he broke away. And that's why I'm astonished at Pinaki Mishra saying that they think they can go back there. I wonder whether their principles are that flexible.
But Dr. Swamy, it's not just the UPA which is threatened. The fact that Prakash Singh Badal is inviting all these third front leaders, the NDA too could be imperiled at the edges. You have very few parties already, and some of them could just flee away.
I don't think so. I think in fact Prakash Singh Badal is playing the role of trying to get more allies for the NDA. And there's nobody in the NDA who has any slightest doubt about Prakash Singh Badal.
Does all this talk of the third front, Mr. Akbar, imperil the NDA's plans of trying to pull other parties towards it, because they're all, as opposed to coming towards the BJP, they're all going away from the BJP as well?
But this is one of the facts of the UPA is both the national parties. I mean, the BJP has nothing to feel very pleased about as far as UP is concerned. Because they were expecting, I think, 80 or 100 seats, or heaven knows what, and where did they ended up exactly? But one of the points that is being missed is the difference, really the comparison between the results today and the results of the general elections. So look at the decline in the vote base in specific areas between the general election votes. You don't have to look 5 years before, because the last political test was really the last general election, and this is where the trends are becoming obvious. Politicians are not unintelligent people. They look at the reality on the ground, and they said it's not sentiment which determines their interest, but winnability. And if they see winnability in one direction, they will tend to actually move towards that direction. And I think all the election results that have emerged have shown that both the national parties are actually becoming weaker. The BJP has not made any gains in Punjab, Of course, it has
They
helped.
lost seats from 19 to about 12.
Yeah, but if you compare that to, let's say, the last political election, there we recovered a bit compared to the
Lok Sabha.
Correct. Elections. But both the national parties, and that is why you see that both the UPA and the NDA are under pressure.
Well, both the UPA and the NDA are under pressure. There are no clear answers yet, but make no mistake, there's a strong buzz about a third front coming together, and as Pinaki Mishra said, everybody is talking to everybody and it's all up in the air currently. We'll try and put it together, get you the most inside perspective on what really is going on. To all my guests, Mr. Manishankar Iyer, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, Tariq Anwar and MJ Akbar, for joining us on this cracking centre stage debate this evening. Thank you very much.